Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Excuse me. Old man flying solo in the seat today, so had basically about an hour and a half rant of meandering 20 different directions for the site people here today. Talking about screeners, talking about blatant market manipulation in stocks. So you guys think it happens in only crypto? Haha. Not quite. But pretty, business as usual. And also, too, more importantly, what's fascinating is the manipulation from an educated perspective is really obvious. And all they did was manipulate prices back down to levels that we would have been buyers at. So it's clearly obvious that they're playing from the same rule book that we're playing from at TRI. Poor public. Oh my goodness, they got really monkeyed with. So if you're interested, maybe check out the free 30-day trial. To learn a little bit about some fun shenanigans in the stock market. I mean, the great part about those kind of shenanigans, of course, is I don't get wrapped up in them, and then I take advantage of the insanity and bang off just absolutely insane wins. So, okay, I'll take it. In fact, before we move on, I think it's pretty important to remind the audience, this is edutainment. This show is brought to you by...
You fucking rugger.
Sassy! I don't know whether I'm going to get into trouble for playing that, but we're just having fun on the site. And if anything, it should be a great analogy. You put yourself in a position where you're buying, at the bottom end of the range, selling halves on doubles, selling half on 4x. I mean, just insane wins. My trading day was done at 6:31 this morning, 1 minute after the opening bell. And the rest of the time we just have fun. So thank you, Sassy, for the soundbite. Love it. And actually we've got, I'm going to leave that at that for now. All right, market talk, blah, 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 Jupiter, Saturn cross, lots of anxiety, lots of uncertainties. Today is what's called Safe Harbor Day. In U.S. presidential election years, the various different states have to verify and certify and ratify the vote in their local state. Then, of course, appoint electoral college nominees who will vote for their respective party member. At least theoretically they should. So today is supposed to be the last day that these states are supposed to ratify, if I understand correctly. Only Wisconsin is left unfinished. And Wisconsin has 10 electoral votes, so really it doesn't matter because Mr. Biden won by a greater than 10 vote margin over 270. So I think the whole process is moving forward. What I'm worried about here, though, is this feels to me like it's a buy the rumor, and once everything's solidified, sell the news, top of the market. Actually, we got some interesting anecdotal evidence from sector rotation today. Also, I talked about in the daily brief. That also is reiterating this idea that the assets that are outperforming in the marketplace right now are assets that usually outperform right at market tops. Uh-oh. So something's a little... and you've heard me squawking about this for a while. Whether it be tax incentive, whether it be, Jupiter, Saturn cross celestial event, whether it be the socialists are coming into town to change the playbook and make it fairer for Joe Sixpack, whatever, there's a hell of a lot of reason for risk takers to maybe go, maybe I want to step back from this market for a little while and let the dust settle once January 1st rolls around. So there's your backdrop. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. U.S. dollar, of course, as sort of the ultimate greed proxy if it's pushing down, if anything, into our Jupiter-Saturn cross end of the year. get those stock prices as high as possible so we can book the capital gains while capital gains taxes are relatively friendly. I mean, this should be pretty logical. It should make sense what's happening here. Then you turn on the fucking talking heads on these, corporate controlled stock market channels, and oh no, everything's beautiful. It's because the economy is so awesome and everything is hunky dory. Come on, don't get sucked into that stuff. If anything, kind of apex event, I actually do like the idea of some sort of big fucking blow off top here in the stock market, in the commodities market, a big blow off bottom in the US dollar, and believe it or not, a big blow off top in things like crypto and Bitcoin. Altcoins, relative to Bitcoin, I don't think this is their time in the sun. Maybe, things like Ethereum, Litecoin, stuff like that, they'll do okay as well. If anything, you don't really want the altcoins going fucking apeshit and the big coins going apeshit at the same time. That's sort of end of cycle kind of talk. What I would prefer is everybody after the end of the year and probably for the first 6 months of the new year kind of thing, we get settled into post COVID, post Trump world, maybe stabilize a little bit. Probably going to have to deal with the post hard Brexit kind of world. There's probably going to be a bunch of uncertainty around that as well. Post Hong Kong freedom world. We're going to have to get used to what that world looks like now. My hunch is probably a lot of people are just going to play good defense. So just be prepared. Also, too, you listen to that. There's one gentleman we were talking about on the site quite a bit lately. He's actually very US dollar bullish. He's also bond bullish. I don't know whether I like the bond bullish talk into this event, especially with all these nasty downside reversals. But maybe following that event into the new year, once all that sort of, pump up in risk assets into Jupiter, Saturn cross. Once that's done, then on the other side of that, I actually don't mind the idea of seeing bonds actually as a safe haven. I was even talking to the site about, rates of return. I run conservative portfolios, retirement plans, and they've already hit like 30% annualized rates of return. And that's with the portfolio only being 25% invested. The other 75% is sitting in cash. So equity has clearly dramatically outperformed this year. I've hit that sort of that mental number. I really like that 30%. If I can get up in that area on an annual basis, then I've won. So I'm exceedingly pleased. And of course, we're coming into the end of the year. So maybe I should just ring the register and cash out entirely. I don't know. There is part of me that's seriously thinking about that. But, the irony of it all today is I don't really want to step in front of this market. Bunch of really good looking bottoms came in recently. We started buying stock. I think I even told you about this stock, that CRIS. And it 4x'd, 5x'd overnight. Bang! I mean, do I really want to walk away from that orgy? So I think I'm going to let the orgy go on into that Christmas event. It should be one hell of a Christmas here. I think I'll go and buy myself some really nice treats for Christmas with some of those profits. But as I said, once we're on the other side of that event, oh boy, all bets are off. That's ironically enough, there isn't really a hell of a lot of change to the message here today. And I'm not really overly excited about gold, but I am really interested in silver. There are a couple really interesting looking little silver ideas out there. At the same time, too, I don't really want to be invested in commodities. The kids on the site, we joke about this one stock, Tusk, every single TRISOF meeting. And that stock is going nuts here today, so what a surprise. But I don't really want to be invested in these, especially once we get on the other side of this. I don't want to be invested in any of it. Crazy, eh? What an oddball. more further anecdote. I mean, does that look like healthy natural growth rates? This is the rate of performance of the small cap sector versus the large cap. You know, when this is trending higher, it means risk on. And Kevin was even pointing out this morning that the Russell 2000 is just going absolutely apeshit right now. So, you know the old expression, make hay while the sun's shining. I'll keep ringing the register. Hell, I even bought one of Kevin's stock, his gynecologist stock this morning. So we'll see how it does. But I had a really big win here today, so I didn't mind taking some of that money and just going and throwing it in names that are Wing on good momentum and volume. And I'll just keep making money, I suppose, if I have to. As for the corn, kind of like the stock market. I mean, this shit isn't cheap right now. It's not like it's screaming higher. This is an hourly chart of a bullish setup that we've been following now, literally for basically the past week. It's sort of sitting there twiddling its thumb. It's almost like it's waiting for permission to get going. Really good tutorial today on the use of trend lines and hunting. You know, if you're a bull, hunting W's on the other side of trend lines. Just not coming in here yet, so you just got to be patient. Interesting how we are trying to W on the bottom side of the trend line though, but we really would like to see a W on the other side of this trend line. Then we can start seriously thinking about stabs up top. So still kind of just stuck. And like I said there a moment ago, stuck at pretty lofty valuation. Oh, holy hiccups, Batman. I mean, we've come a million miles. Ironically enough, you know, usually what ends up happening in these things is usually the top is almost 10x exactly off of that bottom. So that bottom was 3,800. I mean, do we have some sort of insane blow off top into this apex event all the way up into the 30,000 area? I don't know. That's just pure conjecture. No forecasting, edutainment. Who knows what the fuck is going to happen here? I will say, though, we're definitely closer to the end of this move than the beginning. And, you know, this fits into that year-end Jupiter-Saturn cross, tax, political, all that kind of stuff sort of scenario as well. So, it is what it is. Can't buy it up here. Can't really sell. But if you did buy down below and you were hitting profit objective levels, I would be expecting you to ring the register because this is hard work, people. And if you are here to make money from trading and you bought low, your job is to sell high. Don't have to sell it all, but just make damn sure you pay yourself at least a little bit. And finish off today's offering, you know, altcoins, same sort of conversation of late. Not really a lot to get too excited about. If anything, I don't like the fact that these kind of indexes have all rallied right up into shorting levels. So, again, can't be a buyer. And I'm not really a shorter of venture cap this time of year. If I was going to short venture cap, the end of the summer there is the perfect time. If anything, I don't like the fact that they rallied it right back into the end of the year. Remember tax loss selling, all that kind of conversation we had, as it could very easily set up a dump here, you know. And actually this triangle is probably a pretty good forecast. So you can see how this, you know, if anything, there's the end of the year. So we're up here and then into sort of first 6 months of the new year. There is that swoon that I'd really like to see. You know, how deep does the swoon go? Maybe we actually come all the way down into reload zones. That would actually be normal. But regardless, can't be a buyer here. So just hurry up and do nothing. Okay, that's your video for today. Sure hope you got some value out of that. We'll get to hear from Kevin tomorrow, so maybe he has a whole bunch of ideas, and the TRI SOF gang have a bunch of ideas for me to chew on. And maybe I'll tell you about something we actually bought overnight. So have yourselves a great day, all the best, and bye for now.